our YouTube channel, and today we're reviewing the second film in the Indiana Jones franchise.
Having trouble Englishing today?
Englishing is hard. Temple of Doom, I think.
Yep.
Was that what it was called?
The Temple of Doom.
Yeah, that title sequence seems so long ago. But yeah, so like I said before, I think this is the first time that I've sat down and at least watched this one all the way through. I've actually, I watched watching it this time. I don't really think I'd really seen any of this one, or maybe a scene here or there, but not much of it at all. So
I mean, I think there's probably even people who've never seen the movie. There's a couple scenes that everyone has probably seen just because they're famous now, but
yeah,
not very many.
Yeah, but so yeah, it was kind of a new experience for me. So
I've seen it lots of times.
Well, I guess we need to tell them who made it.
Yeah, obviously, again, this is directed by Steven Spielberg. Looks like your story is by George Lucas, but written by Willard Huyck and Gloria Katz, starring Harrison Ford, Kate Capshaw, Amarish Puri, and then, I'm going to butcher his name, the kid who plays Short Round, Ke Huy Quan. Music by John Williams, obviously. And this film was released May of 1984 for a budget of about $28.2 million, and it made $333 at the box office.
Wow, lots of money. Lots of money. Yeah, so first impressions. I still enjoyed it. I still think it's a fun adventure film.
Yeah.
I definitely think it's a step down.
It's definitely a step
from
down
the
from
first
the last
one. I feel like watching it all the way through, I feel like they had about 80 minutes of actual plot, and then they were like, but it has to be 2 hours. So there are a lot of sequences that are a lot of scenes, jokes, gags that are extended way longer than they need to be.
Yeah.
Especially this end sequence, which just goes on forever.
It's like 30 minutes long.
It's more than 30. It's more like 40. It just felt like it just went on and on and on. I'm just I thought the movie was ready to end about 3 times.
Yeah, this movie definitely suffers from not as good a pacing as the last one. It's kind of all over the place. The action's not sprinkled as well throughout. There's not enough story to carry you through the entire film for the entire runtime.
Yeah.
And it kind of gets old, and some of the characters are kind of obnoxious. As much of a fan as I am of the Indiana Jones movies, and as much as I enjoy this movie, I've always hated Willie's character. I don't care for her. I think she's obnoxious.
She is. Now, they play it as a joke a lot of times.
Yeah, it's meant to be a joke, but
yeah,
by the time the 2 hours is over, I'm tired of her. I don't care for her.
And I think a problem with not just this one, but with the first one too, is the villains of the Indiana Jones franchise are just not that great. I mean, what is the guy's name this time?
Mola Ram.
What?
Mola Ram.
Mola Ram. He's better than the guy from last movie. I don't even remember the German guy, I guess. But because he at least has a little bit of screen presence. But the villains are just there, and this guy doesn't even show up until like an hour into the movie,
yeah.
And I'm just like, but it is what it is, I guess.
It happens.
But no, I not to say all bad about this movie. I still enjoy this movie. I still think there's a lot of fun and clever sequences.
Yeah, it's definitely a lot of fun. The action, when it's there, is fun and entertaining, and it's engaging.
Oh, there's a lot of action. I just think
it's not as well sprinkled throughout.
Yeah.
Like
it just gets like, especially towards the end, it's just like there's just so much happening.
Constant. And
it just seems like they're trying to escape forever, to the point that I'm just like, okay, I'm just make it end already. But the effects are still mostly pretty good.
I think they got a little ambitious with this movie. They decided that they wanted to maybe use more green screen and matting effects.
Yeah.
And
some of
it's not up to par.
Yeah, there's some rear projection shots that, especially like when they're jumping out of the plane or whatever, that look kind of rough. And then some matting work that, for the time, probably was about as good as it gets.
The scene when they're flying down the mountain in the boat after they jump out of the plane is a little rough. And then probably some of the worst matting in the whole movie is during that end sequence when they're being matted onto the side of that mountain or whatever.
Yeah, that's
a little rough.
There's some like claymation or stop motion effects with the train, the mine cars or whatever, that looks kind of rough. But as a whole, for a movie made in 1984, it still looks pretty good. Really good. So I'm not going to complain about that too much. It's an action adventure movie, and it doesn't take itself too seriously, so you can't be too harsh on the plot holes. But there is some contrivances, like why don't the pilots that are on that plane just kill them in their sleep instead of like
Because then they
intentionally
have to
crashing
dispose
the
of
plane?
bodies.
Right. Okay. Whatever. Okay. Whatever. They could just dump the bodies out the plane. Same effect. Whatever. And then I don't know. Like when they're like lowering that poor girl down into the lava or whatever. She'd have been burned to a crisp long before.
They
pulled her
saved
back
her.
up.
But
whatever.
it's casual.
And I don't know. There's a lot of stuff happening. I don't know if everything that's happening has good reasons for it happening. It just happens because they needed an adventure action sequence.
Yeah, you made a point too. Like a short round at one point, he's taking a pickaxe to his chains or whatever and escapes, and you're telling me no other kid in the amount of time they've been down here has decided, you know what, that's a good idea.
Yeah, that's what I was like. I mean, but whatever. And, I mean, if you're looking at this from a modern perspective, there could be some portrayals of foreign cultures that would be a bit stereotypical.
Yeah.
Especially during this whole sequence when they first go to the palace and all the food that they're eating.
All the weird
or whatever.
foods that they're eating, yeah.
I was like, well, if I was woke, I would probably be a little offended right now. But, Peter would probably not be too thrilled that they're riding elephants a lot in this movie.
No.
But, it is what it is. But no, as a whole, I don't mean to, like, really talk down on this movie. As a whole, I still think it's a well-made action-adventure movie. Still a lot of great camera work by Steven Spielberg and his cinematographer. Still a great score by John Williams.
Definitely. It's less Star Wars-y this time.
A little less Star Wars-y this time. Still heard some Star Wars effects, sounds. But
definitely.
No, I enjoy anytime.
But overall, I mean, like you're saying, I mean, it's still a fun action adventure romp. I mean, you can have a good time with it. Sit down. I mean, if you got 2 hours, I mean, I could think of worse ways to spend 2 hours on an action adventure movie.
Definitely.
Mummy 2 with the Dragon Emperor. Sorry.
Okay.
Maybe we'll talk about
That's
those
a random
one day.
but okay.
Well, the first 2 Mummy movies are decent, but
I've actually not seen Tomb of the Dragon Emperor, even though it has my favorite actor of all time, Jet Li, in it, right? But anyway,
as far as action adventure movies go, there are definitely worse ones you could watch or spend 2 hours watching. Even if you just want to watch a movie, if you like these movies, it's a fun time.
Yeah. Well, with that being said, you ready for Buy It, Stream It, Skip It?
Yeah, go for it.
All right. Well, you know what? I really had to think about this one as I was watching this movie. For a majority of this movie, I was like, you know what? This is probably worth buying. But man, I can't say that I wasn't just really ready for it to be over by the time it actually came to an end. That end sequence, I was thinking like, okay, we're like having our big climax here. We're getting ready to wrap this up. And I'm like, how much longer we got until it hit the thing? And it said 30 minutes. I was like, 30 minutes? What the hell are we going to do for 30 more minutes? And then we just had like a 20-minute train car, mine car sequence and a bunch of something on a bridge or something. But, I'm going to say stream it. I think it does overstay its welcome by probably about 30 minutes. I think this movie, they didn't have enough plot to stretch this out for 2 hours. They definitely could have shaved 30 minutes off of it. There's definitely some scenes and gags that they drag on way too long. For one example, the whole, is she gonna come into my room? Am I gonna go over to her room? That whole thing goes on forever. And that mine car sequence goes on for a really long time. And I think that it could have been about literally 30 minutes shorter. That's not to say it's not. I didn't have fun. I did have fun. Like I said, I think that there's still a lot of clever scenes, still a lot of cool set pieces, still a lot of fun to be had with this movie. So it's a high recommend for a stream if you got nothing better to do. But I can't quite justifying me at least buying it because I'm not going to sit down and watch it very often. So yeah.
Well, I'm also going to say stream it. I mean, I do own it. It's sitting right here. But I do think it's a pretty solid step down from the first film. The pacing is all over is pretty lacking, and the tone is kind of weird at times. It shifts a lot. Yeah. It tries to be like a slapstick comedy, but then it tries to take itself a little serious at times.
Yeah.
But overall, I mean, it's still an entertaining movie. I mean, it's enjoyable to watch. It's a fun action adventure film to just sit down and watch with the family. But if you're wanting to just watch all the Indiana Jones movies, I'd say that first one I said was a buy. I mean, it's a classic. But this one, if you're just wanting to, watch them all, I could see, just streaming it. If it's for free somewhere, definitely. Or if you got to pay $2 or $3 to rent it, just so you can watch them all, it's definitely worth it, $2 or $3 to watch it. But for everyone, I don't think it's probably worth a buy because not everyone's gonna enjoy it. The pacing is not good. Some of the characters are not written very well. Some of them are obnoxious. Sorry. Yeah.
I did really enjoy the character of Short Round. I thought he was a
Short
nice
Round's
addition.
great. I love Short Round.
Although it makes me question. Well, the first question I got: why did they feel like this needed to be a prequel? And second question: what happened to Short Round between this events of this one and the events of the first one? Did he just drop him on the side of the road somewhere and was like, good luck?
But yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and say stream it too.
Yeah. All right.
Definitely a high recommend for stream though.
Yeah. So that's all we got for this week. I think next time you see us, we're gonna be doing the third film, Last Crusade, with Sean Connery. And then of course, it looks like Mulan is gonna maybe stick to its release date.
As far as we're aware, it's staying in its spot.
So.
But theaters AMC released a statement they're opening up 90% of their theaters on the 15th. So. Yeah. Got that to look forward to.
That's right. So we'll still doing the animated Mulan movie
here in about 2-3 weeks.
I think about 3 weeks.
About 3 weeks.
We've got two more of these. Oh God.
The next one's good though.
Okay, whatever you say. But other than that,
we have a podcast.
We have a podcast called Stomp This Way where we talk about a different giant monster movie every week.
We do.
And we still, I think. Since Tenet comes out on the 31st, I think that we need to make Inception July's... Is Inception next?
Yeah, Inception's the next one.
We'll make Inception July's movie, and then we'll make Tenet August's movie. So
release at the very beginning of August. That works.
So we'll do that probably. And then, of course, eventually we'll get into our Halloween series.
It'll be fun.
We might lose all of our few people we have by the time that's over. But anyway.
But other than that, if you want to follow us on social media, we're up on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. We're still at DNA Film Wars on all those, so make sure you guys like or follow.
That's right, and don't forget to like this video and subscribe to our channel.
Absolutely.
And we'll see you next time.
Catch you later.